Welcome back, everyone. Jack Daniels is the world's most popular whiskey brand, but a little known Black history fact about Jack Daniels. While the face of the drink is of a white man from Tennessee, obviously named Jack, the liquor was actually created by a Black slave named Nathan Nearest Green, who actually mentored Daniel for the creation of the drink that we know today. So joining us on Awareness to tell us a little bit more about it is Darren Thomas, the president of Thomas Media Group and Black Expo South. Your organization actually has an upcoming event this Wednesday, bourbon tasting, and also continuing to learn about the history of Jack Daniels. But Darren, welcome back to the show. We're happy to have you.
Thanks for having me.
So typically when we see you in the springtime as we are previewing a Black Expo, which we'll get to that in a few because I know that's around the corner. But this event that you're holding is specifically for Black History Month. Tell us a little bit more about it, starting with the history of Jack Daniels.
Well, so here's the thing. Interestingly enough, Billie Jean, most people know that associated with the Taste of Black Columbia, which is part of the Black Expo weekend, we've had this long relationship with Jack Daniels and Brown-Forman Industries. And several years ago, Jack Daniels came to us and said, hey, we like what you're doing in the African-American and urban market. It's very important to us. So we ventured into this partnership unbeknownst to us, the real history of Jack Daniels. So when the story really broke about 4 years ago, I will say this: Jack Daniels did, and Brown-Forman Industries that owns Jack Daniels did a masterful job of owning it and saying, yep, this is actually true.
That's
Nearest
good.
Green, who was a slave, who was Jack Daniels' slave, taught him the process for distilling bourbon, which honestly was a West African water purification process, which was something he brought with him, as most slaves who brought things that from the mother country here to America. Well, he taught Jack Daniels this process, and in the process, Jack Daniels, of course, really took off with the brand, with his brand of bourbon and whiskey. And for Nearest Green, the story just doesn't stop there. In the acknowledgement of the history of Jack Daniels, the company, or Brown-Forman, stepped up with the Nearest Green family to then start Uncle Nearest Bourbon. What we're doing on Wednesday is a collaboration between Uncle Nearest Bourbon, which is was started by the Nearest Green family, and Jack Daniels, because there's an initiative called the Nearest Green Jack Daniels Initiative to actually grow or develop more African American master distillers, getting more African Americans in the process of distilling spirits. So with this initiative, we had the first African American graduate of the Nearest Green Jack Daniels collaborative partnership. His brother's his name is Byron Copeland.
Okay.
He will be joining us as we sample some of the new products that are coming out. We will actually select a bourbon barrel, of which we will Jack Daniels and the Uncle Nearest project will then bottle about 200 bottles, single barrel bourbon, which will be distinctly a Black Expo bottle, of
that's major.
Of which we will sell those bottles with the proceeds going to the USC Center for Civil Rights.
Wow, look at that full circle moment.
And here's the thing, I'd love to add the fact that we asked the University of South Carolina Civil Rights Center to be the beneficiary, because we believe that the history and the historical aspects of our community are just as important as the economic aspects, because we've got to tell that story, particularly when we're in a space and time when there are others that want to rewrite or refute that. We think it's critical. And because Jack Daniels stepped out with the Nearest Green family to embrace this, we saw this as an opportunity to help us further the mission in the African American community from an economics perspective, particularly as Jack Daniels and Nearest Green has made a committed effort to extend the opportunity to developing more African American master distillers so that we start more brands. And at the same time, there's a historical aspect that we get to teach not just our kids, but everyone.
Before we wrap up, give us a little preview of Black Expo coming in the next few months.
That's right.
Starting off in March in Charleston, right?
All right. In Charleston, in a few weeks, we've got Black Expo March 9th through the 11th. Eva Marcel, Lorenz Tate, J. Alfonso Nicholson. We've got a stellar lineup. Great plans there. But then in May 11th through the 13th, the Columbia Black Expo, coming back for our 26th year.
Well, Darren Thomas, thank you so much for coming on Awareness. We look forward to seeing you again.
Absolutely.
And thank you for dropping by, especially on our Black History special, giving us a little bit more information on a little known Black History fact.
Awesome.
So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back to wrap up the show.